Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Now we start this one off on the A47 Normandy Way, or North Perimeter Road as it's also known as in Hinckley. Now on the right hand side you can see we have got chevrons painted on the road. They are broken white lines, so you can enter that space if necessary to overtake. Now generally when they say overtake they mean like things like tractors or even horse riders. But does overtaking like someone who's going slightly slower than the speed limit, does that also count as well? I know sometimes that is also open to interpretation. Now let's use Lewis Hamilton here as an example. Now is that classed as a valid move there? He's not overtaking a tractor, he is overtaking another car, which was still, I'll say, more or less doing the speed limit. But does overtaking somebody who's probably going slightly slower than the speed limit warrant it as well? I don't know, like I say, that is open to interpretation. Although for me personally, I'd be a bit wary overtaking here, because you'll also notice there tends to be a lot of dirt and debris where those chevrons are, and there could be something there that could end up puncturing your tyres as well. But anyway, I'd be very interested to hear your opinions on what you think there with overtaking on chevrons or not. Like I say, the biggest thing for me would probably be the amount of dirt and debris in the middle there. I mean, you just don't know what's in there. You know, could anything puncture your tyre or shred your tyres? You know, it's you take your life into your own hands basically. Anyway, carrying on to our next thing now, we're coming up to a roundabout. Now, as we all know, it's priority to those who are already on the roundabout or priority to those coming from the right. Now, we do have one guy coming up in a minute that you'll see. Now, as we come onto the roundabout, he doesn't even look in my direction. We're looking at this chap here. Now, the camera doesn't actually do it justice because he is actually a lot closer than what it looks. And also, you can't see it, but he was not looking in my direction at all. He was just looking at the direction that he was going in. Ah, you weren't looking there either. But anyway, moving on. And I've got one here for you petrol heads or classic car enthusiasts, depending what you want to be called. We're looking at that one there that you can see up ahead of us. But as we all know, my extensive knowledge on cars and makes and models and all that, so I'll leave you guys to tell me down below what it is. And I must say, I bet it's quite cosy inside there. It does look like a bit of a mobile home type of thing. But probably not so much this time of year as we come into winter. But I bet during the summer months it must be nice going around in that, touring places and seeing new places. And we've got another one for you petrol heads coming up. You'll see it on the right hand side. Now it isn't a classic car as such, but it has got quite a snazzy looking paint job. Now, if it wasn't for the badge on the front, I wouldn't have known that that was a Honda. And of course, as you can see there that we've just passed on the left hand side, was our vehicle from the previous clip that we've seen. But anyway, we'll flip over to the rear camera now so you can see that Honda again. Now, I must admit, I do like that paint job. Or is it vinyl? I'm not really sure to be fair. But it's a nice design anyway, certainly eye-catching and head-turning. In this clip, the Amazon Prime van that you can see in front of me is the subject. Now, we're actually going to look at the side of it. Now, it is hard to discern because of the shadows and the lighting at the time, but there was quite a few dents in the side of that van. It's not the first time I've seen an Amazon van with a few big dents in the side either. Good, he's took a bit of a battering. Now in this clip, got another one here for you petrol heads. This red van here, well, like I've said previously, anything that predates the number plate format change in 2000 or 2001, whenever it was, does qualify to be a classic vehicle. Well, in my opinion anyway. Of course, yours may differ. Now, in this clip, we're on the A47 Normandy Way, or North Perimeter Road as it's also known in Hinckley. Now, just up ahead we have a small estate that has Morrison's, McDonald's and a couple of businesses. Now, there's a silver car that pulls out and there's a red lorry that wants to turn in. Now, the car behind me actually flashed their headlights to allow these two to make their manoeuvres. That silver car, he just pulled out in front of me anyway. I had to slow down. But the red lorry does wait. You'll see in a minute. Now, that silver car just pulls out, so I have to slow down. Now, at the end of the day, if you pull out on somebody and they have to slow down, you shouldn't have made that move in the first place. Now, as you can see there, that red lorry just flashed his lights to say thank you to the car behind me for letting him go across. And that silver car that just pulled out in front of me, he just went for it. Now, we'll flip round to the rear camera and you'll see that car behind me flash his lights to give way to those two that we just saw. Now, of course, there is nothing wrong with doing that, giving way to people like that, like he's just done there. But I think he created a set of circumstances that could have easily have been avoided. Anyway, we're back round to the rear camera now, and I've got one here for you emergency vehicle enthusiasts. In this case, it's a police van with its blue lights on responding to an emergency call. Now we'll flip round to the front camera so you can see it. We're on the M69 southbound in this clip and we're just coming into Coventry. Now, if you watched my last video I put up, the Dashcam driving and observations, you'll remember that there was a heavy load parked down here on the left hand side. Now, I said that this was a ghost slip road. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of a history lesson on what happened. Now, when they planned this junction many years ago, there was going to be a slip road joining here on the left hand side that you can just see. Now, just up ahead, you will see the B4065 Hinckley Road. Well, that slip road was originally planned to curve round and meet up with it. Now, I just want to give a shout out to John from Auto Shenanigans. Now, he's got a video on his channel that does an in-depth informative look at the M69, and he talks about this junction in a lot more detail. So I'd highly recommend going over there to have a look. It's a fantastic channel, and if you're into your driving and your roads, it's probably one of the best channels out there on YouTube, I think. Oh, stop. Wait a second. That van there that you see that I'm pointing to now, he was actually behind me. Now he's gone out to overtake me and that lorry, and then he's pulled back in again just to get in front. So anyway, we flip round to the rear camera now. And whilst I was waffling on about the ghost slip road on the M69, the slip road that never happened, there's that white van behind me. Now you'll just see him now pull out to overtake. He's obviously too important to be stuck behind me and that lorry that was in front of me. I'll say he's probably one of those places to be and people to see mob, actually. And anyway, now we're going to fast forward just a little bit. Now we're coming up to the roundabout where you get the A46 and the A4600, and we're going to look at lane discipline now. So, lane 1, which you see here, is to go down to the A46 and also to go to the Anstey Business Park as well. Lane 2, or the middle lane, is also for the A46, but also to take the A4600 if you're heading towards Coventry City Centre. And finally, lane 3, you could go on the M69 northbound, the B4065, or the A4600 as well, going towards Coventry City Centre. Now, that is pretty self-explanatory, don't you think? Now, back to the rear camera, and this time we're looking at that white car that's behind us. Now, he goes into the lane for the A46, but he doesn't want that lane. He actually wants our lane instead for the A4600. Now, we're back at the front camera, and there he goes. Oh, another one who can't read the fucking road markings as well. Well, to be fair, he either can't read the road markings, or he's one of these special ones who think he's better than everybody else. But we've not actually finished with this guy yet, because when these lights go to green and he goes away, as he goes on to the next road, the A4600, he nearly goes in towards a gutter and clips a curb as well. You'll see in a second. Now, could they be preoccupied with something? A mobile phone maybe? Who knows? Obviously I've not got no evidence to back that up, so it's just speculation. We're in the village of Anstey in this clip, and our focus of attention is on a couple of keep clear road markings. Now that driver there was obviously looking no further than the end of their bonnet, because those keep clear markings do look, well, pretty clear to me. Now in this clip we're just coming into Wolvie Heath and we're looking at misleading signals again. I'm not too cold either. Now we're looking at that car just there. Now as you can see, his left hand indicator is on, so you'd think he was actually coming down this road that I've just come up, but actually he wants the next road along instead. I'm sure he was indicating to go down there. Sausage. As you all know, this is dashcam driving and observations, and I do like to see an abnormal load once in a while. We've got one just coming up here on the left hand side. There you go. I think that's like a rock crusher that's on top of the trailer. Also, just a quick question. Do you have to have a special license to drive something that big? Or can you just drive it a normal class 1? Let me know down in the comments below, please. Thank you. And of course, we'll just flip round anyway to the rear camera so you can have a look at it. You'll be able to see it from the front this time. We're on the B4109 in this clip, just coming through Burbage, and we've got an Amazon driver just up ahead of us. Now, he doesn't do anything wrong. I stop to let him out, then he pulls straight over again just a little further down the road. I'll get a thank you there as well, as you just seen. But then he pulls over again to make another drop, I expect. Quicker than walking, I suppose. We're at Dodwell's Island in this clip, and we have ourselves a red light runner. There he is there, the white van. As you can see, our light's already in the process of changing to green. The other car that was in front of him, I would say probably went through on a very late amber onto red. No, you definitely didn't have a green light, mate. We've crossed over the border now into Nuneaton, and we're coming up to the end of the long shoot where it meets up with the Eastborough Way and Hinckley Road. And we're looking at this car you can see just here. Now, they're not doing anything wrong actually. They're indicating left to go down Eastborough Way, which is the way I want to go as well. But lane discipline leaves a lot to be desired. As you can see, we've got 3 lanes here. There's a right-hand lane to go down Horston Grange, and these 2 lanes, including the lane that I'm in, are to either go straight on or to turn left onto new housing estates, which have recently gone up in the last couple of years. But I just can't figure out why they couldn't have moved over to the left-hand lane and leave that lane on the right-hand side completely free for any traffic that wanted to go past. They do filter back in anyway further on down the road, but it's just an observation, you know. And let me tell you now as well, over the last few years, the roads in this area of Nuneaton have changed dramatically, and I expect they will change a lot more as the years go by, with more housing estates going up and everything. Now a bit of a history lesson for you guys here now. So we've gone back now to where that traffic light junction was for the filter lane onto Horston Grange. This is what it looked like in 2017. And that pub that you can see on the right hand side there, the Acorn, let me just say they do some good food in there, so I do recommend a visit if you're ever in the area. Fast forward now to October 2024, and as you can see the road layout here has changed dramatically. Where it was just a basic 1 up 1 down with a lane to go on to Horston Grange, it is now a 5-lane road. We've got 3 lanes heading in this direction, the right hand lane of course to go into Horston Grange still, but you've also got the 2 lanes to go straight on, which is what we've just seen in the video. So it'll be interesting now to see how this place changes in the years to come. But anyway, it's class dismissed now. Let's carry on with the video and the observations. Now we've got my old favourite here, the old places to be and people to see mob. And we're looking at the rear camera this time. It's not the car behind me, it's the car that's behind him. There they go, look. Can't be late now, can you? We'll flip over now to the front camera so you can see them go on their merry way. Now, in this clip, we're just come up to Dodwell's Island and we're looking at that van on the right hand side. They're not doing anything wrong. I have left a gap because I do let them out. I get a wave off him and I also get a flash of the hazards as well to say thank you, so that's fair enough, you know, no issues whatsoever. Help each other out on the road and we all get to where we're going. But sadly now he lets himself down at these traffic lights as they just turn to amber. Now personally I think he had enough time to stop there. Oh, you let yourself down there, mate. Go home sign, you're drunk. We've crossed over the border in this clip and we're in the Warwickshire town of Bedworth.
Play your great songs from that year next. Welcome to.
And yes, I am well aware that it looks like somebody has backed into it.
Your blind date is already at the table, and
go home sign, you're drunk. Now, if you remember a few videos back, I mentioned that I lived in Bedworth for a time between 1995 and the year 2000. Gosh, was it really 25 years ago? But anyway, we've just come to this mini roundabout here. Now, this is Furnace Road that we're on, and the road going off to the right is Beechwood Road. Now, the road off to the left is Beechwood Road, but I live down the road to the right, at number 68 to be precise. And of course, I also went to Nicholas Chamberlain, or Nico as it was known as well back in the day. But anyway, we're going to carry on, because shortly now at the next junction coming up that you can see, we have an encounter with a bus. Now, the bus wants to turn up this road, so I do back up a little bit to give them enough space, because obviously he's bigger than what I am. And of course, that's something else that hasn't changed since I last lived in Bedworth either, the number 20 bus route. In fact, the only thing that has changed is the fact that they now use these electric buses instead of the old school metro buses. I mean, there has been several route variations over the years. Most recently, the number 20 was extended through to Nuneaton on some journeys, but generally the route has remained the same all the time throughout. We've moved on a little further now and we're in Bulkington. Now we're going to be looking at usage of a mini roundabout. Now the van goes right over the top, but being a long wheelbase van I suppose you can allow for that. The blue car is sort of half and half, half on the roundabout and half wrong side of the roundabout. And this one here, more or less the same. Half on, half off. Then there's also me doing it how it should be done, if possible, obviously. And like I say, with that van that was long wheelbase, you've got to allow for like bigger vehicles. Now in this clip, we're back over the border in Leicestershire, and I'm back on the local manor. This is Tudor Road that I'm on, and if anyone's driven down this road will know there is a variety of traffic measures to control people's speed. And obviously this one here we've got coming up, we've got priority over traffic coming the other way. But where do you think you're going, mate? Your giveaway lines are here. Yep, definitely keen that one was. You didn't want to hang around, did you?
It's the way.
Now I've got one here now for you petrol heads. Now I'm actually going to buck the trend here. That is a Corvette. Now I only know that because it says Corvette on the back. Otherwise I wouldn't have had a clue. And of course you all know me when it comes to car makes and models. And of course we'll flip round to the rear camera for a look. Boston car that is. Corvette, oh shit the bed. But that's expensive to fucking insure. Now we're on the A5 M69 roundabout again. Now, with the exception of the road to Wolvie, all the entrances and exits are traffic light controlled. So obviously, the road from Wolvie, you'd have to obey the usual rules for roundabouts, and that is traffic coming from the right, or those are already on the roundabout. And we're looking at these two here, Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles. Okay, the first one you can probably make allowances for, but this one here, definitely not. What are you fucking doing in future, yeah?
That is stupid, what?
I've got one here now for you emergency vehicle enthusiasts. It's just a paramedic car. Unfortunately the viewpoint isn't great, but you know, it is what it is. ambulance car, paramedic. Now, in this clip, we've got one of the City of Wolverhampton's licence to kill assassins in front of us, but we're not actually looking at him. Instead, we're looking at two cars that are blocking keep clear signs. You'll see them shortly on the right hand side.
Toyota or something.
Here's our first one just here, even though keep clear is displayed quite clearly on the floor. And here's our second one. Again, keep clear is displayed quite clearly on the ground, as you can see. Now, if somebody was coming the other way and they wanted to turn into those driveways, they wouldn't be able to, so they would also snarl up traffic coming the other way as well. Although some people might argue and say, well, why don't they just go down to that roundabout by the handsome cab and turn around? But why should they do that? In this clip, we're on the A47 Normandy Way, or North Perimeter Road as it's also known as, and we've got one of those poor, vulnerable cyclists. You'll see him on the left hand side shortly. Now, just take a look at this. We'll zoom in a bit so you can see. Now, look where his head is looking. He's not giving himself a medical examination, is he? No, he's on the phone. And to make things a bit more interesting, he's got no hands on the handlebars either. Now, here's a serious question for you guys, especially if you like your gaming consoles. Does anyone remember when the first PlayStation 2 come out? And the first Grand Theft Auto came out on it as well, and you had your character Carl, and one of the vehicles that you could drive was a motorcycle, but they called it a Sanchez. It was like a scrambler type motorcycle. This thing that you're about to hear overtake just reminds me of one of those things. Well, the motors definitely sound similar anyway. And we're back at my favourite roundabout again, the A5M69 interchange. Although I think they actually call this area Stretton Baskerville. I'm not 100% sure on that anyway, but if that is the case, let me know down in the comments. And we've got some of my favourites here, Amber Gamblers. As you can see, our lights are changing to red. That black car you can see will let him off because he was already over the white line.
Takes you to winding
Yeah, you can be forgiven as well, to be fair.
streets, spontaneous
But I think that one should have anticipated it and slowed down and stopped.
detours.
Well, we're going to fast forward now to a professional driver who also wants to get in on the act. Now we have this coach here. Now, them lights have actually just turned to red because I could see them in the reflection. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't show it for some reason. I think it must be the resolution or something, I don't know.
Well, you definitely didn't have a green light, mate.
We're here when you need us. With trusted
And we're going to fast forward again because we've got another one coming up. But this time it's not an amber gambler. It's actually somebody who's got poor lane discipline. Now we're looking at this silver car here. Now he doesn't actually want that lane. He wants the lane that we're in. Now I don't think that was a mistake. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. He saw that lane was going a lot slower than this one that we're in, so he decided to swap over. This roundabout does attract the lane hoppers though, to be fair.
and so is Coral's free.
Now, final clip for this compilation, and we're looking at somebody who's a bit pushy. Now, I can't figure out why people have to do this for. At the end of the day, it's late at night, there ain't many traffic on the road anyway. There's absolutely no need to try and edge your way out. Just wait until I've gone by, and there you go, you can pull out then, can't you? We're looking at this one here. Now, there's absolutely no need there to pull over the giveaway lines. You know, it doesn't take long for me to go past, and the road was clear behind me as well. Anyway, that's all for this week. Thank you very much for watching if you've made it this far, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and bye for now.